Good evening, top fan and around the diamond followers. This is Grand Slam Sam and Baseball Bill here with you, coming to you on this beautiful Sunday evening. Some things changed this week, so we had to kind of move this to a day and a evening show. But we are happy to be here with you on Sunday evening baseball. Baseball Bill, how are you doing on this fine Sunday evening?
I am great. I just got back from Philly, Baltimore, Boston. It's been amazing. Got a chance to meet Sam in person in Philadelphia. Got to watch the
Yes,
Giants lose 2 out of 3. I mean, all things were right in the world.
it was hard to it was a hard 2 out of 3. But no, it was finally great to meet Baseball Bill in
Yep,
person. It was awesome. It's been a long time coming, so we are happy we were
absolutely.
able to make it happen. But we have a lot of baseball to talk about, and let me tell
Yes, we
you,
do.
things got crazy in this last week. So let's jump right into this. Uh, Baseball Bill, why don't you take us through the AL this week?
All right, Orioles are holding pace, but the Rays are coming nipping at their tail. Blue Jays are still there. We're going to talk about them in a second. Red Sox probably out of the division, but got a shot for the wild card. We'll talk about that in a second. Yankees better luck next year. Twins, great job. You're going to capture the division. Probably everybody else better luck next year. Uh, Mariners, Rangers, Astros. My oh my, do we have a
T-
division?
Timeout. Mariners are actually in the lead in this division. This was not updated up until they won today, so that should actually be 74 and 56. We have a leader in the AL West.
There
Why
you
don't you just
go.
point that out?
There you go. Huge. So that's going to come down to those three horses. Angels, better luck next year. A's, A's have been pretty much eliminated since mid-May. So, I mean, Sam, what are your thoughts in the American League? Did I nail it or did
But
I nail it?
I think you nailed it. But you bought a great shirt though out in Philly.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
It
I
was a
will wear it on
green
next show.
shirt. It was a green shirt and it had in gold letters. It was an interesting word. What was that word?
Sell.
That's right, because the A's owner needs to sell that team and give it to someone that actually cares about what they're doing. No, Bill, you nailed this AL standings. I don't think there's anything else we can say.
Yeah.
I think the Yankee. We're going to talk about the Yankees a little bit later in the show. I have nothing to say to the Twins. Absolutely nothing to say to the Twins. The AL Central is an embarrassment. And congrats to the Mariners. You've been my pick since the beginning of the year. Yes. But Bill, we're talking about the AL. We can't just talk about these leaders of the Orioles, Twins, and Mariners. What about this?
We got to talk about the wow wow wild card. All right. So obviously those three teams we just talked about, Rangers, Astros, Mariners, they're all fighting for that spot. Depends on who wins that division and who else gets right there. The Rays are coming on strong when they need to come on strong. It may be too little too late for the division, although I think they're only down 2 games. But it may be, who knows, right? 2 games there's still a lot of baseball left to go. Blue Jays are trying to fight there. Red Sox are trying to fight. Red Sox lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers this weekend. So that didn't help their cause. But man, is this getting exciting or what?
Seriously, I don't even know what to say about this AL wildcard race. And we still got 33 games left of baseball.
Yeah,
So it's anyone's game in this AL.
yeah.
Moving into the NL, Braves are running away with the National League East. I believe in the next 10 to 15 games, they could probably say that they've got it landlocked and it's all good. Um, but Phillies fighting in that second place spot. Moving over to the NL Central, the Brewers and the Cubs and the Reds are still all fighting. That is close. I would definitely keep an eye on that NL Central. And moving over to the West, Giants are slipping. They're not playing great. I'm really not excited about it. But the Dodgers are really taking a run and just taking that NL West like they typically do towards this time of the year. But I will say this, that the Dodgers, this is the latest I've seen them kind of run away with the division. So I will say that I think it is showing that the other teams are becoming stronger. Just saying. Bill, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Well, I'm enjoying you talking about the Dodgers being in first place and the Giants not going after the division. But wait, Sammy, we got to talk about one thing that's happened in the National League. Who is in last place in the East?
Oh, the Mets. I'm not
the
even talking about the Mets because they're not important.
the Nationals took it over. God bless America and all the baseball world.
It is crazy. And looking in this National League wild card, the Phillies are leading in that division, are leading in the wild card. Cubs only got a game ahead, and the Diamondbacks are right at the bottom. The Reds and the Giants and Marlins all fighting for a spot. Bill, anything on the National League wild card?
Don't take your eye off of it because it's going to be fun. This wild card race is going to be fun towards the end. If I were a betting man, I still say even though the Cubs are 4 games back or whatever, yeah, 4 game. No, did the Padres win today? I think they did, didn't they?
I am not sure.
Uh,
Looking at,
that's fine.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so I still think the Cubs are going to win the Central. Phillies are going to hold on there. Yeah, we got some good things happening. So
No, the Padres lost today.
okay, all right. So the Padres are effectively eliminated as well. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, don't take your eye off this race. It's gonna be fun.
Absolutely not. Bill, what about these stats?
Oh,
Any
okay. Where you want me to go? You want me to go hitters or pitching?
Go wherever. Go wherever.
Okay. How about I do the batting average leaders and the strikeout leaders, and then we'll just go diagonal today.
Deal.
All right. So batting average leaders, look out, Freddie Freeman. Here we come. Right. This guy has 50 home run or 50 doubles this season. The guy is on fire. I want to say he collected 6 or 7 hits in 3 games in Boston. Ronald Acuna Jr. is not slowing down, and watch out, Cody Bellinger is making his move. Strikeout leader Spencer Stash is continuing to strike out like nobody's business. Making an appearance on this thing is Blake Snell. We like that. And Garrett Cole, thanks for playing. We will see you next year, Garrett Cole. All right. Take it away.
Looking at the RBIs, Matt Olson is just still continuing to show why he is a dominant RBI leader. He's just not stopping. He's been the leader since basically the beginning of the season, and he is just coasted to keep this lead dramatic. And moving over to these pitching leaders, Spencer Strider, not only with the most strikeouts, he is leading the league. I still find it really tough to say he's going to hit 20. He's going to get close, but I don't think he's going to hit 20 wins. And yeah, I mean, the whole pitching is just crazy this year. It's just crazy to think that we're gonna have a crazy strikeout leader and he's not gonna hit 20 wins.
Yep.
Crazy. Making an appearance on the stolen base leaderboard though is Julio Rodriguez from the Mariners. J-Rod, this stolen base count is probably the largest jump we've seen in probably the last month and a half or 2 months. Bill, why do you think that is?
So, I was at Citizens Bank Park on Monday and Tuesday, and on Tuesday we walked through the Hall of Fame museum that they have there at Citizens Bank. And there's a glass case with the bases from last season and the base from this season. They're huge, comparably speaking. When you see them side by side, they're amazing. Now, I don't want to say that that's the reason. I just think that more teams are realizing that you've got to play some small ball to win. So I'm not going to say this to the bases, but I am going to say there's small ball needed.
I also think now that we are getting later into the season, we have teams fighting for their wild card spots. We are seeing players be more aggressive and taking more risks, which is why the drastic increase in stolen bases in the last couple of weeks, at least. But beyond that being freaking scary, Bill, what about this jump? Let's talk about this leading jump.
5,000. It's going to be 5,000 home runs. 5,000.
Bill, we could hit 6,000 home runs.
Possibly. It's all the same names, right? But people are hitting more home runs, and it's amazing because you're still seeing pitchers get 15, 14, 16. You're going to see a couple people maybe get 16 wins this season, maybe 17. And yet you're still going to have 5,000 home runs. I mean, yeah, 6,000 maybe. I mean, it's insane.
I can't. I just don't even know. But, you know, as we move on from the statistical topics that we typically go through, let's go into our fun topics. We want to make sure we left a lot of time for fun topics today. As we go from Shohei here being a home run phenomenon, we want to talk about what's happening with his future. There's a lot to talk about with his future. So just recently, Shohei Ohtani was diagnosed with a tear in his arm, eliminating him from pitching for the remainder of the season. But he's still batting, so he's still trying to show off why he is a dominant force. But there's been a lot of talk around this in regards to where his contract's going to go in for next year because of the injury and all of that. So, Bill, why don't you take me through where your mind is at with what Shohei's future looks like?
How much time do we got? Do we got an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? Wait, I'm going to need some time here, Sam. For those of you listening, this is going to be Around the Diamond 2.0. We're going to run 9 hours today. Enjoy. It should be no. Listen, Shohei, Bryce Harper went through something similar, right? You can still hit. I mean, my goodness, he went out to Queens and then had a double and a triple in the same game right after coming out the game before with the elbow situation. Here's my personal thought, and again, I haven't talked to Shohei. His agent has left me a few voicemails to get my opinions on it, but I don't have time right now. Shohei's not going to get the 60 million 10-year contract anymore. He'll be lucky to get a 3 to 5 year contract, and it will be someplace in the ballpark of 200 million. Because effectively what you're doing now is you're hiring a DH because he's not going to be able to pitch, at least not in the near future. And if he does need surgery, he'll be on the DL or the IL, whatever we call it these days. He'll be on the IL probably until May or June with the surgery. So effectively, you're hiring somebody that can't pitch or can't play for you. Now, that being said, there's one team that this bodes well with. Do you know who that is?
Who?
The Angels. Angels know him. Shohei knows them. Shohei knows that he can get paid in Anaheim. I think that this helps the Angels, but it doesn't. I don't think he's going to get the 10-year, $600 million contract. So, again, 200 million, 5 years maybe. But again, just keep in mind, everybody, and I'm going to let Sammy talk here on this for a second, but keep in mind, if you are a fan of the game and it's your team, I don't care if it's the Giants, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Reds, the Astros, the Cardinals, I don't care who your team is. Remember that effectively you're hiring a DH. So if you have older players, take the Cardinals, for example, what happens if Paul Goldschmidt goes down or Nolan Arenado goes down, and when they come back, all they can do is DH? Are you going to sit them so that Shohei can DH? Now, if you're a team that's rebuilding, the A's, dare I say the Marlins, even though they're making a run, Marlins, A's, Kansas City, Colorado, maybe that makes sense, right? Because you're going to draw a crowd from that. But the future is still bright, but it's not beaming bright. Agree or disagree, Sam?
I think we fail to remember that Shohei has done freakish things.
Oh, yeah.
Since he's shown that he can recover very quickly from injuries that he's already sustained in the league. It's not like Shohei hasn't had an injury. So we need to take that into consideration. And on top of that, he is still getting a second opinion on how bad it is. Is that if this is something minor where while he may have to do surgery, it's not something that is like a major surgery. Again, I it could. We need to really find out the severity of the injury. Now, I do agree with you that it is going to impact his value. Now, how much is is where I disagree with you. I think the length of time is going to be shorter. I do agree with that. I think it'll, but not in the 3 to 5 year range. I would say you're probably looking in the 4 to 7 year range. Now, you're going to think I'm a little crazy by just saying it, that's really not. No, that's a very big deal. That's a very big deal in baseball. 3 years to 4 years is a huge deal, especially how you structure the deal. Because remember, you can make it a 3 year contract with a fourth year option. So there are ways that you can really structure this to be friendly. So I think it's going to be more 4 to 7, and then the value. I think you're going to see somewhere between the 400 to 550,000 range. I think we're going to get close to that 600
Yeah,
million.
not
I mean,
thousand.
million.
Yeah.
My apologies.
So,
400 to 550 million dollar contract. That's where I think we're going to get to. I think he's still going
okay,
to be around that value.
so let me ask you this then, Sam. Okay. I have loved doing the show with you, and I think you're amazing, and you know that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this as a Giants fan. Okay. This is your second year in a row where you're not going to win the division. Okay. You've got a lot of young talent coming up. You're making strides. You're in the wild card. You could get the wild card. You could win the World Series this year. You have the talent to do it. The Giants do. Are you going to offer Shohei a 7 year, $500 million contract? So now let's assume the best. It's a minor tear. He just needs some basic surgery. He'll be back by May. Not a big deal. He'll be able to pitch by June. Are you going to offer him that contract? And what happens in a year and a half when it happens again? And now he's going to have Tommy John, but he's going to be out 18 months.
I mean, you have to consider the future risks, but at the same time, there's a value that he brings beyond that makes that worth it because of who he is. He is a star.
Oh,
He's going to
absolutely.
command the money.
So
And I think
go
you
ahead.
also have to look at you have to look. I looked at this yesterday for Bryson Stout. I happened to be at the Phillies game yesterday when they demolished the Cardinals. I mean, that was just a thromping they put on the Cardinals. I
Yeah.
mean, but you know, Bryson Stout. I'm not sure how to say his last name officially. He's still in pre-arbitration. He's only
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have the ability to negotiate how much he's making for 3 more years.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So when you look at a 5 to 7 year contract and you look at who you're bringing up, yeah, you make those tough decisions because of saying, yeah, I'll pay him that amount of money because I know the guys that I'm bringing up, I don't have to pay top dollar till at least the middle of his contract. And if we adjust the contract right to front load a lot of it and then balance it out with a reasonable amount when we hit these guys in arbitration, yeah, I'll pay him that money all day without
Okay.
even a
But
shadow of a doubt, without
but
even thinking about it.
keep in mind, Shohei, I had heard, now I don't know this for truth, but I had heard Shohei makes about $15 million a year in endorsements in Japan. And so in America and in Japan, $15 million worldwide. Okay. I have heard that that's been happening for 3 years. Okay. Plus his MLB contract. The guy's made, I don't know, 60, $70 million in his career. At what point do you say, I don't want to risk my body? Now, I had also heard this week that Steven Strasburg, after he retired, I had heard that his tendons in his hand and elbow are so bad that he can't even open a door with his right hand. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but at what point do you risk it? Do you go for to become a billionaire? How much money is too much money? These guys are making so much money now. Sam, if I offered you to come work for Top Fan Rivalry and I paid you what the league minimum was, $750,000 or 60 plus $1,000 a month, You'd be a very happy guy, wouldn't you?
Okay, but you're comparing, yes, but at the same time, I'm not risking my body. Like, I'm not putting my body on the line like these guys are. And again, and I agree with you. You're that, yeah, yeah.
Now I'm gonna
What is how much is it actually worth to put your body on the line? But think about it this way: in in a 5 to 7 year contract,
uh-huh.
that puts him at what, 37 years old. He could retire at 37 years old after a $550 million contract. And he may have some residual feelings after, but it's not going to be like, you know, yeah, he could retire at that point, or he could retire 3 years
So
into the contract or 4 years into the contract. Look, Mike Trout has still got what, another 6 years on his contract, and he could
another
retire
18
next
years on
year
his
with.
contract. Yeah, it's
But
ridiculous.
here I'll flip the script. You want to change we'll change the player. Maybe it's not Ohtani. Maybe it's Mike Trout. It's 5 to 6 years left on his contract, and he's had enough knee problems that you might as well put him in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
So what you're gonna put? You're gonna say he retires next. He retires at the end of this year. That the Angels still have to pay him out the 5 years on the contract. They negotiate out with him, so that is like the Bobby Bonilla contract, and they pay him over the next 30 years, the remainder of his contract. The, any team can do that with Shohei. Any team can do that with any player if they decide to do that to make it financially reasonable for both sides. But depending on the team that you are, for you you look at the value the player brings to the fan base of the organization, and you have to realize that there's eventually going to be a cost for that, and you need to put that cost above and beyond, because yes, he may cost me $550 million, but he's gonna bring me in $800 million. So the $300 million I'm gonna gain in value from endorsements and all those stuff, it's worth it. So yeah, I mean, you
so
have to take the
last
good with the
question,
bad.
because we got to get on to our next topic. But last question
Yeah,
I have for you.
before we don't even
League
have time to get on to the next topic.
league minimum for Sam, working for Top Fan, wearing a Giants jersey, sitting in the bleachers at Dodger Stadium when the Giants come, sitting you in 301 in Philly, and sitting you in the Bronx when the Giants are there. You willing to take the risk? No, Jesus. Next topic, Sammy. Next topic.
I'll wear my Giants jersey to any stadium and feel confident going too, because I'm a Giants fan and I love my team.
Yeah. Yep.
I've worn. I haven't been to Dodger Stadium yet, but yeah, bring me there.
Next
I'll
year.
wear
We're
my.
gonna make it happen next year.
Yes,
All
we
right.
will.
What's our next topic? We only got 5 minutes for that topic. So what's our next topic?
What's
Boom.
next? So there's some crazy things happening right now in baseball, especially in the American League, and it's on both coasts for the month so far, because for some reason the the waters are really telling the difference. There's a lot of jokes about the East Coast Hudson River water and it being really toxic and chemically, and that Seattle water being nice and fresh. And we're seeing a lot of that right now. Don't you think, Bill?
Amen. Yeah.
So what is it? What's in the water?
I have no idea. So all I know um is that it's good for baseball when the Yankees are good, because it's kind of like America's team, right? As much as we hate to admit it, people want to go to that stadium. They love the history of the New York Yankees. They've won 28 World Series. Listen, much love, hats off to the Yankees. But this year, they were poised to win, and they're not doing it. The Mariners are, have a shoestring and dental floss payroll basically, and are just killing it. So I don't know. I like the Mariners. I still think Texas is going to win that division, but I think the Mariners are coming in as wild card. I think within 8 to 10 days, we'll see the Yankees start to play some of the kids and realize, hey, this season's over. We've got to do something different.
I, you know, it's living on the East Coast and growing up around a number of Yankee fans. It provided me so much, what's the word? Joy to be able to put these three pictures up of Yankee fans. Let me tell you, it was so exciting to be able to do it, because for 30 plus years of my life, all I've heard is, the Yankees are, this grand gem. The go and you pay these top-notch players to come there. You've got $1 billion in payroll between three players, and you're in dead last place. When I say dead last, I mean dead last. They are 62 and 68. They are 19 games out.
Yep.
Games behind the Orioles. It is over for the Yankees this year, not just on the game side, but the wild card side.
Wild card.
Done. So you, as a Yankees organization, you have to look at this and say, is this a one-time fluke in the pan, or are we not set up for success? Or are young guys not ready? You're right. The young guys are going to start playing, and they're going to have to show the organization that they're worth the value. Because if not, the Yankees are going to go back into early 90s rebuild mode where they're going to start paying for players again. Watch. They are not afraid to do it. They're not afraid to do it. Playing all farm to table. It's all farm to table for the Mariners, and they are not shying away from it. It is great to see this young group of core players that have been coming up through this farm system being led by J-Rod just pounce on top of the division. I still think they're going to win the division. I think they are just playing with so much excitement, so much enthusiasm, so much energy and youthfulness that they are like the Giants from 2010, a band of misfit youths that are just coming out and shining. So watch that. And AL West finish up because it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a shootout. That's just what it is.
So you guys got to check out what we got going on.
Yeah, you, Bill. Let me tell you something, fans. Bill has put together a monster crazy week. There's so much that Bill has happening in this next week. Putting it on 2 slides, I am shocked I was able to do it. Bill, looking at this podcast schedule, I mean, you put together a great one, and I'm with me on
it. Yeah. So we got you on there on Monday. We got a new fan, a Reds fan coming on named Jess. We got Jackson coming on and talk a little bit about the future of the Angels, and I'm going to do a podcast. We may have another guest sneak in where that would supplant what I'm doing, but it'll be good. The one that I'm excited about is this right here. So Tuesday, AJ from Bleacher Brothers is on. He's a phenomenal guest. He'll be in the leagues. Remember, we've got the Monday through Friday morning show, 8 a.m. to 8:30 on the West Coast, 11 a.m. to 11:30 on Instagram Live. Wednesday, you got Megan, who's a Mets fan. You got Thomas, who's a Braves fan. They're going to duke it out a little bit. It's going to have a little bit of fun. I also am going to do several lives this week. I'm going to do one with Karina, who's an Angels fan, and just talk about the Angels. Thursday, Jackson's going to talk about the MVP race, which is insane. Plus, I'm going to be a guest on Houston Hat Crew's show, as well as Bleacher Brothers on Wednesday. So, I mean, and Saturday, I catch a plane to go to Houston. I'm going to be at Minute Maid Park watching the Yankees play Houston on Saturday. On Sunday, I'm going to be at Globe Live in Arlington watching that game. And then Monday, we've got a watch party. So no rest.
You are busier. No rest for the weary. None whatsoever. And I love the Wednesday in the leagues. You got the best in the league, best in the division, going up against the worst in the division. I think Megan might want to skip that show. She just might. I'm not saying she's going to, but because Megan's feisty, she likes to stand up. Around the Diamonds fans, as always, make sure you are checking out TopFanRivalry.com for up-to-date articles, podcasts, and new merch. It is coming out on a regular basis. Bill does a phenomenal job of keeping that site up to date and keeping it loaded and stocked for your convenience. And make sure you remember, when you are there, use the code ATD, all capital letters, get you 10% off anything you buy inside the shelf. Yep. Bill, any final comments? Anything left?
Nope. I'm going to have an announcement next week that will blow your mind, absolutely blow your mind. So it'll be good times.
It's
But Sam,
can't
thanks for
wait
doing
for it.
this for me. For those of you watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you know what we're doing. For those of you watching in the locker room, refer your friends to the locker room. Heck,
Let's go.
it's a couple bucks a month. You spend more than that on coffee. It's okay.
It's all good. But as always, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the field next week.
Sounds good.